The Republican Party of Wyoming has an issue with a bill. What does the bill aim to do? It seeks to implement a minimum age requirement for marriage as the new law across the state, inside the state legislature. So they don't like that. They have an issue with that. Wait until you find out what their issue is with setting some sort of minimum age on marriage. The bill is sponsored by Representative Dan Zwanitzer, a Republican. So note that there's disagreement within the party here. Would raise the state's legal marriage age to 18 years old. There's an exception card for 16 and 17-year-olds provided they receive consent from a parent or guardian. He says it is audacious for the Republican Party to suggest that as soon as you can give birth to a child, you should be allowed to get married. There are 12 and 13-year-olds in the country who wind up with pregnancies, and we certainly don't want them to be able to get married, in my opinion. Well, don't be so certain, because plenty of people think that that's the most reasonable thing ever. The Wyoming Republican Party sent out a mass email last Thursday arguing that the law raises, quote, concerns about constitutional rights and denies, quote, the fundamental purpose of marriage as well as parental rights. Marriage is the only institution in Wyoming statute designed to keep a child's father and mother living under the same roof and cooperating in the raising of any children that they together conceive. That is the natural right of every child. I think in that sentence, they mean the child that will be raised, but I would remind them, you're also talking about a child getting married. So maybe bear in mind both children. Anyway, there's some more back and forth. They really do think it's Matt Walsh's political philosophy writ large across the state legislature. If they're old enough for breeding, I guess they can tie the knot. And he advocates for it. So what do you think, Francesca?
I mean,
are you grossed out yet?
Yeah, just child brides. I don't want to continue with the like Al Qaeda, like line. But you have to draw the lines, the similarities between the so-called terrorists and like, the backwards religion of Islam and these like, supposed like Christians who also believe in child brides, right? The ISIS and the child brides, and putting aside all the Islamophobia involved in that, then you see it happen here in this country. And so here's what I will say. I think the Republican Party is right in terms of how their ideology is lining up here. And I think this guy, Representative Zwanitzer, I think he might be off a little bit, because if you do believe that a 13-year-old does not have the right to terminate a pregnancy, then you really can't restrict that 13-year-old from marrying. Like, it doesn't mean you require them to be married, and we could go back and forth on like, what age one should be at before they can fully decide whether they want to be married. I say 35. I mean, that's between my two marriages. So, that's sort of when I was like, yes, this is what I want to do. But if you're going to do forced birth, then at least allow a woman, a child, the ability to make the decision whether they want to like live in a family and raise a family with their partner.
So I will say we were speculating in there, a little bit of baked in speculation about what his position is on abortion. So I'm looking it up, and I'm finding he was rated 0% by the Wyoming Family Alliance. I don't know the Wyoming Family Alliance, but I know generally what groups are like when their name is something like Wyoming Family Alliance.
Oh yeah.
He voted nay on requiring an ultrasound prior to an abortion. He voted nay on providing information to abortion patients. Gee, I wonder what kind of information. So I don't know.
So he might be.
And he appears to be on the other side of that issue. Okay. I don't know for sure. This is based on the research. I didn't initially consider it super important, but you're right to raise the question. In any event, on this issue, we know that he appears to be on a slightly more reasonable side. In any event, one other thing I wanted to mention though, because obviously this is just one state that's considering this. There are 8 states, including Wyoming, that do not have a hardline minimum age requirement. Some of them you won't be super surprised, maybe Mississippi, Oklahoma, West Virginia, but also California. Ooh, spicy. I do also want to point out that this sort of thing is very important if it affects you. It's not that the numbers are so big. In Wyoming, I think in the last year of reporting, there were 20 marriages involving someone who was 18 or younger. So it is not an incredibly rare thing. Bear that in mind out of the number of marriages that they do per year.
God, can I just, no.
Okay, final point goes to you.
Oh, final point is no 13-year-old should get married. That's all I have to say. I don't care what their parents say. And half of this is also like creepo dudes who are like, well, if I just pay the mortgage off for their parents, I can buy the child. Like it's creepy older dudes. Yeah. We're trying to also skirt maybe statutory rape laws by marrying their victim. Like it's all kinds of gross.
How many years do you think that Leonardo DiCaprio should have to wait then? Anyway, wow. That's gonna be it for. I heard he was dating a 19-year-old. It's just so weird. Anyway. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.